We all understand by now that we cannot believe a single damn thing that comes out of the mouth of any member of Donald Trump's regime unless they are giving sworn testimony under oath in front of Congress. And even then, Pam Bondi and Kash Patel appear to have been obviously untruthful, which then, of course, exposes them to all kinds of prosecution. But if you're looking at a press conference or a tweet from an official government account or any statement that any member of Donald Trump's regime gives to the public, you have to expect that it will be full of absolute bullshit, especially if it's coming out of DHS, especially if it's coming out of the mouth of Kristi Noem or Tricia McLaughlin or Greg Runt Bavino or Todd Homan, any of them. We are not trusting these fuckers farther than we can throw them. We are believing if they are talking especially about immigrants, about protesters, about the people that they beat and shoot and murder, they're lying. They're fucking lying every fucking time. Okay, so we all understand the modus operandi of federal agents now. They will beat people, they will ram their cars into them, they will shoot them. They will assault them in God knows how many different ways. They will murder them in the street. And then in an attempt to cover up their crimes, they will play Darvo. They will reverse victim and offender. They will do the every accusation is a confession. They will accuse the people that they assault of assaulting them. Time after time after time. This is the pattern that we see. For example, they shot TikTok influencer Richard L.A. and then in an attempt to cover it up, they claimed that Richard tried to ram his car into federal agents. They charged him. That case went to court. Charges were dropped. Why? Because the evidence proved that's not what fucking happened. Not only that, but in that case, federal agents refused to turn over their body camera footage. So last year, I was in the middle of teaching a workshop on how to use your social media platform for political advocacy, and we got the news that a woman had tried to ram her car into Customs and Border Patrol agents, and they shot her 5 times, that she was a violent, radical, left-wing extremist. That was the breaking news. That was what was put out by DHS. Her name is Maramar Martinez. They shot her 5 times unprovoked. The case against her was dismissed. The evidence now is damning that the Customs and Border Patrol agent shot her basically in cold blood. It's a miracle she survived. He then bragged about shooting her in text to his friends. Also, DHS removed her car and all crime scene evidence from the scene and shipped it 1,000 miles away, essentially destroying evidence in the case. She did nothing wrong, and she was shot 5 times. It is a fucking miracle that she's alive. She was victimized by federal agents, and they tried to put her in prison for it when she survived attempted murder. Jonathan Ross murdered Renee Good, and then DHS Kristi Noem claimed that she was trying to run him over, claimed that she rammed her vehicle into him, and that he suffered injuries and was in the hospital. We've all seen the footage. We've all read the New York Times breakdown of it. That's not what fucking happened. Renee Good was murdered in cold blood because Jonathan Ross was an angry, out of control, lawless agent with a deadly firearm. Alex Preddy was attacked and executed in the street, and the President of the United States called him an assassin. Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem, called him an assassin.
This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at this scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement.
No, none of that is true.
Claims that the individual posed a threat to law enforcement.
That is no claim. It is the facts. The facts of this situation. This individual showed up to a law enforcement operation with a weapon and dozens of rounds of ammunition. He wasn't there to peacefully protest. He was there to perpetuate violence. And he was asked to show up and to continue to resist by a governor who's irresponsible and has a long...
I saw a TikTok earlier today that was like, me 3 years ago. Oh, I think that word is not so nice. I don't like it when people use that word. Me in 2026. That cunt. That was in reference to Pam Bondi, but I feel that way about both of these women. How reprehensible. Kristi Noem was lying through her fucking teeth. She was painting an innocent man, intensive care nurse Alex Preddy, as a violent domestic terrorist set on committing what crimes? I just like he was there defending a woman who was being assaulted by ICE. He was just living his life in Minneapolis and happened to be in a place where ICE agents were brutalizing people, and he went to defend an innocent woman. And we've all seen it. He was executed in the street. This regime has lied every time you hear a story about so-and-so attacked DHS, so-and-so is a member of Tren de Aragua, so-and-so is a violent gang member, so-and-so is a domestic terrorist, they're a violent criminal, they assaulted ICE. Don't fucking believe it. Every single time it has turned out to be a bald-faced lie. Hey, Hakeem Jeffries, how's that impeachment of Kristi Noem going, by the way? Hey, Republicans in Congress, aren't y'all the party of small government? How do you feel about federal agents murdering people in the street and then lying on their names? How do you feel about that? How do you fucking sleep at night allowing Kristi Noem to maintain her job? How do you sleep at night knowing you have funded ICE to the tune of $38 billion? Fuck all of you. I mean, I understand that we really shouldn't expect something different from people who are building concentration camps across the country and committing an ethnic cleansing against hundreds and hundreds of thousands of our immigrant neighbors. I mean, what do you expect from the kind of woman who shoots her own puppy and then writes about it in her memoir like it's no big deal? Okay, so we also recently had the story of Luis and Yorlanis here in Portland that were falsely accused of being members of Tren de Aragua. And then it turned out when the DOJ lawyer had to speak about it, you know, in court where it matters, right, where he can be held responsible. He said, we're not accusing them of being members of a gang. No, we're not saying that they're gang members. But Kristi Noem, the messaging from DHS was that they were violent gang members. We now know they are not in a gang at all. And then just yesterday, we have new information out about another immigrant that was shot by DHS. Do you remember that story right after Renee Good was killed? We heard that another person in Minneapolis had been shot. I'm actually going to read the first little bit from this Politico article that came out yesterday because I don't know if you can tell, I'm getting a little flushed. I'm a little worked up. So I'm just going to read their words so I stop swearing so much. The piece is by Kyle Cheney and Josh Gerstein. 2 federal officers appeared to have lied about an incident last month in Minneapolis that ended with one of them shooting a Venezuelan immigrant in the leg. You didn't hear any apology from the government. You didn't hear about this in the press. You only heard about it because he had to give testimony under oath. And I remember when I heard the original news story, I was like, this is bullshit. I call bullshit immediately. So what they claimed was that 2 federal agents were attacked by a group of immigrants wielding shovels, and that one of the agents shot one of the immigrants in the leg in self-defense. 2 of those immigrants were brought up on federal charges, and Todd Lyons is now saying the charges have been dropped against both of them. We know that Kristi Noem had previously defended the officers, saying they fended off an attempted murder and that one officer fired in self-defense. I'm going to read from Todd Lyons' statement here. A joint review by ICE and the DOJ of video evidence has revealed that sworn testimony provided by 2 separate officers appears to have made untruthful statements. Both officers have been immediately placed on administrative leave pending the completion of a thorough internal investigation. The U.S. Attorney's Office is actively investigating these false statements. This is what we're seeing time and time again. Newly discovered evidence contradicts the officer's story over and over and over again. This is the pattern. This is the modus operandi of DHS. This is not legitimate law enforcement. These are liars. These are lawless, violent criminals masquerading as federal agents being paid big fat fucking salaries with our tax dollars so that they can shoot us and then lie about it, even lying in sworn statements, lying under oath. They think they're going to get away with it. They think that they are above and outside the law, that they can brutalize us, they can violate our rights, and they can get away with it however they want. They think they will never face justice. I'm shocked in this instance. The video evidence must have been overwhelming. And I think where these guys fucked up is that they gave sworn statements that were lies. We have no choice. The volume of evidence is overwhelming. Federal agents are lying about their conduct repeatedly. They are assaulting and murdering people and then lying to cover it up, to bring charges, to put in prison in an attempt to silence the folks that they are shooting in the street, that they are ramming their cars into. They are trumping up charges against them. And Kristi Noem is giving credence to all of this. Kristi Noem is the one lying. She has never yet apologized. She uses the Joseph Goebbels school of propaganda, which is lie and lie and lie some more. Never apologize for your lies. Never correct your lies. Never back down. And I guarantee you this story is never going to make Fox News. There's never going to be a correction that anybody on the political right is going to hear. They still believe Venezuelan immigrants have been attacking our law enforcement with shovels and brooms, and they deserve to get shot. This is who DHS is, though.